Well, it's that time again, Solar Warriors, everybody's favorite, biggest conference in North America. That, of course, is RE+. Are you still calling it Solar Power International? Just about everybody I know has made the switch to RE+. Last year, we made enough jokes of RE+. But here it is, the episode to help you know what you need to know before you go. RE+ 2024 is right around the corner. And every year, we partner with RE+ to give the unofficial, official Know Before You Go episode in audio format. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. There are a few things here that are visual in nature. That might be helpful for you if you're listening on the podcast. Really appreciate you as well. You may want to click over and watch some of the things that Tim Morris and I, for example, talk about in terms of the show floor and orienting yourself to the massive map of this year's campus, expanded to accommodate what we expect to be close to 50,000 attendees. That's right. 50,000 of your and my closest friends will be convening September 9th through 12th in Anaheim, California for the annual solar conference here in North America that's actually bigger than solar. That's why it's called RE+. This episode is geared to help you orient yourself not just to the show floor, but to your schedule and figure out how to best invest your time and energy, not waste any of those, and get the most out of your trip to Anaheim, California in a few weeks' time. But for now, let's get ready to tune up your skills, Solar Warrior, as we tune into this year's Know Before You Go RE+ Edition 2024. Here we go. Well, many of you are anxious to know, how do I navigate my way around this massive show? As always, we have Tim Morris and the RE+ events team to help us guide the pathway for you. Tim Morris is the director of marketing for RE+ events. Great to see you, Tim.
Yeah, great to see you as well, Nico. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. As the weeks get closer, I imagine your calendar is overrunning. So thanks for taking time out of your schedule to help orient our Solar Warriors and give them a better sense of comfort that they know what they are getting into.
Yeah, anytime.
To that end, last year was a landmark, a banner year for the show. What was the attendance officially in Vegas?
40,000 last year in Vegas.
Goodness, are we, fingers crossed, expecting we'll cross over 50,000 this year in Anaheim?
We'll see. I think we're looking great as is, looking to surpass last year. So we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. But we're in a good place.
Yeah. Well, having attended RE+ since 2006, it's baffling for me that we've achieved the scale and reach that we have. And each year, the campus seems to expand. And each year, there are things that are new and noteworthy. So let's dive into the new and noteworthy for 2024 RE+ in Anaheim, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, the campus does expand each and every year, and this year is no different. While we're heading back to Anaheim this year in California, we are going to be using a lot more property for our show. This year, it's the Anaheim Convention Center and campus, and that includes several buildings, as I just mentioned, the Anaheim Convention Center itself, as well as the North Towers within that and the Arena Plaza. But on top of, and as well as level 3, but on top of that, there's also the Marriott Outdoor Pavilion, the Sheraton, and the Hilton are all part of this campus, in addition to the Grand Plaza in front of the convention center as well. So there's lots of places. There's no main place. There's lots of places to find exhibitions, sessions, networking events. It's all over the campus. It's going to be great. And people really need to think ahead this year about how they want to approach this, because it is a lot, and there's a lot of places they can go, and they're not going to be able to send it to see everything in all one go. So, best bring a team as well to help you experience all of what RE+ has to offer.
Yeah, well said. In years past, and I'm showing the screen here for anyone who's been to the replus.com, re-plus.com, you can easily find a lot of this stuff. If you go to the general information, you'll find a lot of information here about where to go and what to know on the venue site. It does a great job of breaking out how the floors are oriented, I'll actually start using this image as well as I'm showing people where the Power Up Live stage is. But you can see that the campus is really spread out. In years past, we kind of only stuck to halls A, B, C, and a little bit of D. Obviously, the Marriott and Hilton are involved in a lot of stuff out in the Grand Plaza. But we are really stretching out all the way past the arena into, as I understand, even some venues outside the arena plaza. So got to plan ahead. Tim, the scale of the venue is incredible, and getting oriented to it is a task that I tell people, like, at least spend 15, 20 minutes just orienting yourself to the map and putting a game plan together. But we've also got the 20th anniversary this year for RE+. What's in store for the 20th anniversary?
Absolutely. We're really excited to be celebrating 20 years of RE+. I know many of you all probably remember us as purely Solar Power International, and then we added on Energy Storage International, and then became SPI, ESI, and North American Smart Energy Week, and now we are RE+. And it's been 20 years of greatness. So we're really excited about that. And one thing that we're going to be doing on Monday evening is having a celebration at the House of Blues. This is a ticketed event, so it's actually not included with any of the past types. So we're really excited that we'll be joined by two great musical guests, Ashley Cook, a country singer, as well as Smash Mouth will also be performing. So that's on Monday evening.
6 to 9.
So we invite everybody who's coming to the show to try to make it out there to House of Blues. It should be a fantastic event, and we're really excited to be celebrating 20 years.
20 years. Congratulations to the RE Plus SEPA team. You guys have done a tremendous job of creating the meeting place for the industry every year, which now kind of feels like in Anaheim or Vegas. So next year, foreshadowing, we're back in Vegas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But this year, it's a jam-packed schedule. Talk to me about how do you think about advising folks to orient their schedule when there's just so much they could be doing?
Yeah, in terms of orienting your schedule and getting around the campus, we have a lot of enhancements this year. We recently launched a new app called RE Plus Connect. It's going to be your key to getting around the campus and building your schedule. You have the opportunity to favorite your sessions, the exhibitors that you like, meet with other attendees, but it also provides AI-powered recommendations on who some of those people should be, or those companies should be, or schedule or sessions, should be as well. But in addition to that, it's really going to be a useful tool in terms of navigating around the campus, because there is an interactive map within that app where you can get point-to-point directions. But there's also a Bluetooth function where we will have actually beacons set up around the campus where it will identify where you are, and then you can get from where you are to any booth or session that you're looking for.
That will be a welcome addition next year in Vegas.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be great.
So Tim, am I able to? Are we yet to the technology level where I could say, okay, I want to plan my schedule such that I'm optimizing where I'm located on the show floor, and I want to meet with these 15 companies. Help me organize the schedule better?
If you're where you're standing now and you're trying to get to point B, it will tell you how long it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And you can theoretically, if you wanted to, put in the extra, you could sit there and go, well, when I'm in point B, then how do I get to point C? You can do that ahead of time.
Yeah.
And sort of map that on your own, but the app isn't going to necessarily tell you that.
Yeah.
You have to be in 4 different places.
Yeah.
It's only going to know from where you are at that point, and then when you get and where you're planning to go the next area.
Even then, I can tell you that in years past, that would have been a game changer, because you can't underestimate the scale. This is just the main hall that we were looking at earlier, drilled down using the old version, Map Your Show, because the new version hasn't, as of recording, hasn't been fully launched for you guys to see. So it'll look very, very similar to this. But you can imagine that if you're in a meeting all the way over here and you wanted to meet with someone all the way over here, then you have to figure out how much time that is. And what you're telling me is that I can use the app to tell me that.
Yeah, you can plot in where you are, or
That's fantastic.
Identify where you are, and then where you want to go, and then it'll tell you how long it takes to get there.
Yeah, one of the hacks that I'll say tips, tricks that I tell people as well is you should come in and you can do this by logging into your show map and setting up your own agenda and favorites by searching the people that you want to visit, right? So if you know you want to visit CPS, for example, you can find them exactly where they are on the show floor, back out and see kind of where that is in orientation to everyone else, and easily get a better sense of how to orient all the different vendors that you want to visit and see, like, oh, I didn't realize those guys were actually in the ballroom over in Marriott, for example. right? Which is a new addition to the show, the Marriott Ballroom.
Yeah.
For example, and there's a whole lot of vendors over there. Tim, how do I get to the Marriott Ballroom from the convention center? Is that straightforward?
Yeah. And, like I said, in addition to the app, we do have a lot of other wayfinding enhancements that we have this year. We're actually going to have a lot of touchscreen kiosks all over the campus as well.
Oh, great.
I want to say 18 in total. So you can go up to them, tap on the menu items there. We'll give you a map of where you want to go, and you can decide where you want to go. And the best thing about that too is that it's also the same map that's used in the app. So they cross over, and it's the same experience that you get on the app. You get that on the kiosk. You can also direct yourself to different sessions or exhibitors as well. So it's going to be a great tool, additional tool for people to use. But in addition to the kiosk, a few more, like low tech routes as well. We will have You Are Here maps positioned around the campus, as well as printed map booklets to help people as well if you want to go that route. On top of that, there's even more. We are going to have Ask Me helpers around the campus as well, helping direct people, in addition to just general meetup markers like a big solar flower or a big sign where people can reference where they want to meet up. They're not going to be able to miss it because it's going to be big and bold. So
when we get into the actual show itself, there's more than just the exhibit hall floor. There's a lot of education. Your team spends the entire year preparing for the education sessions on site. Many of the education sessions are the full access pass. There are things that you can go to without a full access pass, but give me some of the highlights, like the general session, some of the things that people should know about that are happening throughout the week.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be kicking things off with RE Plus today. It's the general session this year. And in years past, it's been on Monday evenings, but this year it's going to be on Tuesday morning. And we're really excited to have Padma Lakshmi be the host of RE Plus today. She's the Emmy Award nominated host and executive producer of Hulu's Taste the Nation. And also, I'm sure many people also remember her on Top Chef as well.
Right.
We're really excited to have her. She's going to be interviewing several representatives from around the industry, each with a unique perspective of how they are addressing solutions within the clean energy space. So that's something we really, encourage people to check out. It's available to anybody in any past category. After that is the Master Speaker Series, and that is a special series of key industry leaders talking about insightful topics throughout the industry, and that's available to those full conference or the platinum pass holders. But we encourage those with access to attend those. Some of the speakers that we're going to have there are Jigar Shah. He's been a great addition. And on top of that, on Wednesday, we do have the Global Market Summit. That is available on the show floor. And so anybody with any pass type can actually attend that. And we got some great sessions there that people can take part in, unlocking green potential and financing clean energy projects throughout international banks, as well as federal finance resources for U.S. technologies and global clean energy projects. We're going to have some representatives from the Exim Bank there speaking as well, in addition to the Small Business Administration. So there's some really great, sessions we have on the show floor. In the general sessions, in the platinum sessions, it's great. You should take the time to go through the schedule beforehand and highlight the sessions that you want to attend, and then make sure you save those, and then you'll have your plan for RE Plus this year.
And I always ask, what is your favorite after hours? What are you most looking forward to off the show floor, away from the venue?
Off the show floor, I am definitely looking forward to the block party, which we do every year. And if you remember in RE Plus 22 in Anaheim, we went to Angel Stadium, which is where we're going again this year. So super excited about that. It was a lot of fun. People had a great time, really popular and unique experience for people at RE Plus. So that is on Tuesday evening. And with access to that is included with that platinum pass, that full conference platinum pass. But tickets are available to anybody with the business pass or a day pass for that particular day. They can add that on and join everybody at Angel Stadium.
Amazing. And then I know that a couple of things sort of coming back to the venue that we want to make sure folks are aware of, because it's, again, beyond just Solar Power International. It's now all renewables, RE+. One of the things that is a recurring venue is the Horizon Hydrogen Grand Prix. That's happening throughout the 3 days. Is that right?
The final for the Horizon Hydrogen Grand Prix will be actually on Wednesday, and it's going to be in Arena Plaza. There's a whole setup there. It's a great thing to see if you missed it last year. What it is basically is a bunch of teenagers and kids from around the world. They get together and build RC cars that are powered on hydrogen. And they run
Brilliant.
circuits in different races around the world, and they all come together at RE Plus to do the final there, and someone gets crowned the winner. So
How cool.
it's a 6-hour grueling drive of RC cars powered by hydrogen going around a great track. It's really fun to watch. The kids are really into it, and obviously they're learning a lot, and so are we. So that's something, I highly recommend.
That's so cool. I'm definitely going to make some time to go over and see that myself. I've missed it in years past and have only seen highlights from Josh and others who have had a chance to really go over and check it out. And I guess last but not least, one of the things that you guys introduced last year that I think was a crowd favorite, and for sure you guys are bringing it back, is affinity groups. How are affinity group meetups being integrated into the schedule this year?
That's correct. We do have a lot of affinity group meetups this year, like we did last year. They are gatherings and networking opportunities for different groups within the industry who are typically underrepresented, can come together and discuss how their experiences are in the industry and other topics that they might find, interesting to discuss with each other. Some of those groups we have this year are young professionals in clean energy, women in clean energy, Black professionals in clean energy, military, veterans, and family in clean energy. We have a whole list. It's great. I think there's something for everybody there. They can jump in and find a gathering that they'd like to attend, and all are welcome to join.
Yep. And
it's something we're excited about this year.
Yeah, and I'm showing it on the screen. But once again, if you go to the general information, which is re-plus.com/general-information, but you can see it on the screen and also easily find it. Just scroll down or click on networking and partnered events. You'll find a lot of those. You can click through them, including you'll run right past the, if you're not careful, some of the pathway options that you should check out. There's a bevy of information. Apart from planning out your day, I really do encourage you, take some time, pick a weekend and go through. You've really got 2 more left. Pick a weekend, go through the entire re-plus.com website so that you can better orient yourself and enjoy what is no doubt going to be the best year yet for RE Plus, the biggest year yet for RE Plus, and a lot of things in store. Well, Tim, anything else before we go that I might have missed?
Yeah, one thing, just real quick too, when you're coming to campus this year, we'll have plenty of registration and badge pickup areas across the campus as well. So you'll have multiple areas, whether you're going to the ACC or the Marriott or the Hilton, you'll have places to pick up your badge. So really, make sure you take advantage of that. And on top of that, you're not going to want to miss Power Up Live, which will be outside Hall E in the ACC, featuring, Nico Johnson himself and SunCast Media. We're proud to be partnering with SunCast again. And look, you should really come by and check out the podcast stage this year.
Tim, I want to thank you so much for 5 years of partnering with SunCast to produce the Power Up Live stage. And, when I had this idea coming out of 2018 that you guys are so gracious to give us an opportunity in 2019, it really was a concept of for us, by us. And one of the things I'm super excited about is that this year more than ever, it's not the Nico Johnson on the mic barrage that it has been in years past. There are a lot of podcasters in the industry. A lot of folks have stepped up, and there's going to be a lot of really interesting conversations, both from independent podcasters, folks that names that you recognize, some that you might not, and the SIA and SIPA teams bringing their expertise and research teams to bear to share wonderful activity and insight and education at the Power Up Live stage. It's more than podcasting. It is a different format. It's a different venue for connecting with the thought leaders that are really driving the change in the energy transition. So wonderful. Appreciate that nod. And it's wonderful to partner with you guys year over year. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks for being here on the
Thank you.
Know Before You Go episode. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. See you in Anaheim, and hope everyone's there too.
Erik Holvik is Associate Director of Business Development at EnergySage, and up until about 3.5 years ago, had never had the opportunity to really attend industry trade shows. Erik, welcome to SunCast.
Thanks for having me.
My understanding is that when you jumped into the solar industry with EnergySage, you finally got a chance to actually go to these wild beasts called trade shows. How have you seen how's the experience evolved for you over the last 3 or so years? This will be your 4th, I think, RE Plus.
Yeah, so I've been to a lot of different trade shows, from the regional RE Pluses to NABCEPs to now RE Plus, that formerly known SPI, and it has grown from the last 3 years. I think it has doubled or tripled in size which has been crazy to see the growth, but it's also exciting to see how much the solar industry has grown in the last 3.5 years, however long I've been in this industry. And I'm sure, how long have you been in the industry? It's grown even tenfold from there too, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, it continues to grow, which is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, I joked that I was not even a joke. I was actually a volunteer scanning badges. You know those people at the door in 2006 when I was running my own company, so that I could get a free ticket to the show. And I think total attendance was under 5,000. And last year, I think it was over 40,000. This year, we expect 50,000 plus. So 10x growth in the 18 years that I've been. I think this is my 17th or 18th RE plus. I'm curious, as a industry information platform connecting the dots and data for thousands of installers and millions of homeowners, how do you all think about the role that of trade shows like this play for industry cohesion and also just data gathering?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And what I believe it does is it very much brings everyone together to have these conversations as a group that typically do not happen. And what that happens is as people walk past the booth, they end up having a conversation, exchange numbers, business cards, virtual business cards now too, have those conversations and then follow up afterwards. But it really becomes more of a think tank, especially with the sessions that are happening, the networking after the sessions, the happy hours. All of these different events really just allow everyone in the industry to collaborate and come together and share ideas, because they're not working for those 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, well, they're not working on the business specifically, right? They're working on all of the connective tissue that helps the business stay engaged with the industry. I think it's one of those essential, for me, it's essential. It always surprises me when someone is not sending their team to RE+. Especially the business development team. I know that's something that it's just part and parcel to how you manage those relationships, that ability to press the flesh, to get FaceTime with those folks that perhaps you've only ever had Zoom calls with. How are you preparing your team as you gear up here in the month ahead of RE+?
Yeah, we're doing a few things. Is one, making sure that we're putting out some social posts, have some meetings in the books, but also making sure that everyone on the team blocks off time to walk around the expo hall, to learn what's happening, what's new in the industry that they haven't seen this year or years before, but just have conversations and understand that a lot of their networking and new business opportunities is going to come from happy hours or networking events.
Off the show floor.
Not bumping into someone on the expo hall, because that's like looking for a needle in the haystack.
Yeah. I wonder, with regards to actually walking the show floor, how have you improved that activity to be sort of a maximal experience for you? And what kind of tips do you give your team?
Yeah, I tell them start with a manufacturer that you know and that you have a contact there, and start walking your way over there. And if you get sidetracked, you get sidetracked, but pick a destination, try to walk in a straight line, and good luck, and see how far you can go.
That's very interesting. And certainly the longer you're in this industry, the more times you will get stopped between start and destination. That much is to be expected. One of the things that a lot of folks turn to EnergySage for is the data that you gather and the information that you extrapolate from it. Are you all presenting anything interesting this year at the show? And if so, when, where, who should we queue up in our schedule?
Yeah, so my colleague, Emily Walker, she's our senior writer for EnergySage, will be speaking at a session called Batteries Included, Transforming Homes into Resilient Power Hubs. That's happening on Wednesday, 11 to 12. I think it's 209 AB Level 2 on the Convention Center.
Fantastic. All right. Now, as you mentioned, not all of the useful activity is on the exhibit hall floor or even in the classrooms. A lot of it happens after hours. What's your must-attend after party at RE+?
I think we all know what it is. I mean, it's got to be Fight Club at the end of the day. Everyone has to go to it. If you haven't reserved, you might as well reserve it now.
That's right.
Because that's the session to go to. That is the networking event. Everyone will never miss it once you go once.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm having been on the organizing committee for a while of Solar Fight Night organized by Solar Fight Club. Everybody always asks, is there real fighting? And there are going to be a few fun surprises this year. No actual like slugfest, but a few fun surprises on actually in the venue, because we've got a much bigger venue this year than we've had in years past. There may or may not be an actual boxing ring.
Oh, love that. I already got messages from a couple installers already asking me, like, are you going to be at Fight Club? Am I going to see you there? I'm like, don't worry. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. So I hope to see you there and everyone else who's listening to this too.
I'm sorry. You'll find me in my purple jumpsuit walking around the show, greeting people, making sure everyone's having a good time. The other place you'll be spending a lot of time is the EnergySage booth for those who want to come by and give you a high five ahead of the Fight Night festivities. Where will they come find you?
EnergySage, we're located at C43103, back of Hall C by the C Beer Garden. So come join us for a drink, join us for a couple interviews, have a conversation. We'd be thrilled to see you.
Yeah. And as you just pointed out, EnergySage, as per usual, will have their crew on site doing interviews in their booth, 80% of the booth dedicated to their video team. Swing by, see if you've got anything interesting to share that they'd want to put on tape. Maybe, who knows, you'll end up on the EnergySage YouTube channel as well.
Who knows?
Erik, I look forward to seeing you in Anaheim.
Sounds good. See you there.
As RE Plus has grown, so has the interest from outside the industry, not just from media, but from big tech and even big nonprofits. Well, big and small, you might say, folks are interested in how sustainability and access to clean energy affects our life and our livelihood. I've been, as a lifetime climber, at least as an adult, lifelong climber, I've been super interested in a certain rising media star, none other than Alex Honnold. What many of you may not be aware of is how Alex and his Honnold Foundation are contributing to energy equity throughout developing nations. Here to talk a little bit more about Honnold Foundation and their presence at RE Plus is the Executive Director of Honnold Foundation, Emily Teitsworth. Emily, great to see you.
Thanks so much for having me. We're super excited for this and really excited to meet you at RE Plus in a few short weeks.
Yeah, likewise. I can't believe it is just around the corner. Emily, have you been to RE Plus before?
This is going to be our first time, so neither Alex nor myself or any of our partners have actually attended before, so this is a big year for us.
Amazing. And we're going to talk a bit about kind of how to optimize the experience at the show. So I know that not only are you now a contributor, but you'll be a listener of the Know Before You Go episode. I've been guilty of saying that there are a few people I would fanboy. Alex Honnold happens to fall in that category of someone that I actually legitimately in real life follow. Been really excited at their coverage on his podcast, Climbing Gold, which I think everyone should subscribe to, about the, climbing in its second time now in the Olympics. And he actually got the chance to go and do some interviews, which was fun for Olympics.com. I think it's a huge step forward for our industry and for the show to have people that I recognize as media stars like Alex on site. So we're excited that Alex is going to join us at the Power Up Live stage on Tuesday morning as we have our opening morning show at 10 a.m. I would invite everyone to come out and get a chance to see and perhaps even meet Alex. He's going to be between two key activities there. But I'm curious, Emily, when you guys think about the places where Alex's time and attention could be invested, why is now the right time for Alex to be present at the major trade show known as RE+?
You know, the Honnold Foundation has been around now for coming on 12 years. Alex started the foundation when he was still living in his van, and he started climbing all around the world and really saw what it looked like for people to either have no access to energy or to rely on things like diesel generators or coal for their energy needs. And so, he's been a longtime proponent of solar in his personal life and realized that early on, he could make a commitment to philanthropy and to giving back outside of his climbing. And he really just thought that solar was this sort of catalytic solution and a way that he could invest in the future of both communities and the environment in a sustainable way. And so he's been involved in the industry in different ways for a long time. And as the Honnold Foundation has grown, we've started to expand our partnerships with groups in the industry like REC Americas and Soul Systems and others. And so we have been looking for an opportunity to just engage more directly with these other groups from the government, from corporate backgrounds, and other nonprofits that are doing this work. And RE Plus is the perfect place to do that. I
think that the first time I heard about Honnold Foundation, it was in the context, probably speaking with Carrie Hayes about the partnership with REC. And it's been really tremendous, I know, to see how you all have partnered with REC for the outreach that you've done in Puerto Rico and other areas. Is it true? Like, what's the percentage? I think it's a public number that Alex actually uses of his own funds to support the foundation.
Yeah. So when he was, just starting out and, not making a lot of money before Free Solo, the big documentary came out, he made this commitment to donate a third of his annual income to charity. And so he contributes to about, a third of his income each year to the Honnold Foundation and to our grantee partners doing solar energy work. So pretty incredible.
That is beautiful. You're going to have, after Alex leaves, the morning show, which is at our Power Up Live stage in the lobby of Hall E for anyone that wants to come see it. You all will be going immediately to a master speaker series where Carrie Hayes from REC and Alex Honnold will be speaking on the work that you all are doing together. What's the nature of that session, and what would folks want to know to intrigue them to come over and watch that?
Yeah, so Alex and Carrie have been friends for a long time. Carrie's been a big partner and supporter of the Honnold Foundation. They both do in-kind donations and financial support, mainly focused on our indigenized communities and tribal communities that we work with around the country. And so we are going to use this as a way to kind of highlight the friendship that they've had and how that's grown through their partnership around solar energy innovation and investing in marginalized communities. And then we're really excited after their conversation to bring on 3 of our grantee partner organizations to have a conversation with Alex about their work. Yeah. So our main focus is supporting organizations that are working in marginalized communities using solar for community development and conservation. And so we're going to be featuring 3 organizations, one from North Dakota, one from New Orleans, and one from New Mexico that are really leading community solar innovation, and they've gotten support from the Honnold Foundation for the last couple of years. So excited to transition from that conversation between Alex and Carrie, which I think should be really exciting in its own right, to really hearing directly from frontline grassroots leaders as well.
Amazing. The other thing that I'm really excited about, and I'm grateful to our mutual friend Aaron Greason for helping make the connection, is most here have at least heard once that Solar Fight Night is the party that you all should be prioritizing. It is the largest philanthropic nonprofit activity happening at RE+, and we like to call it the Met Gala for solar. And this year and every year we choose at least one nonprofit. This year we've chosen 3 that will be recipients of the proceeds from Solar Fight Night. I guess a lot of folks know that it's a giant gathering and networking event of the year. It's a big party, and but I think very few folks know that the money from the proceeds actually go to nonprofits. And this year we've selected 3 nonprofits, among them the Honnold Foundation, and going to actually look forward to, beyond having a chance to interview Alex at the morning show and see he and Carrie at their panel, we'll have you all, your whole team from Honnold Foundation, including Alex, at Solar Fight Night. That is, that's happening on Tuesday night. For those who haven't already bought your tickets, we'll link to it in the show notes. It's the 10th from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. For those of you who like to stay out late, we'll be at City National Grove. But I can promise you, if you don't buy your tickets in advance, you won't get in. There have been tons of people left at the door each and every year. So make sure you buy the tickets. We'll put the link to the tickets, the event bright down in the show notes below. Emily, I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person. I'm pretty stoked, frankly, to get a chance to meet the whole Honnold Foundation team and Alex Honnold himself. Thank you for bringing attention to not just what solar power can offer in energy equity, but how a committed, I've said before, like a media star, but somebody who's a committed athlete and a public figure like Alex is choosing to dedicate part of their hard-earned proceeds to this area of energy inequity, and in particular with indigenous communities. Thank you for all that you guys do.
Thank you so much. We're really looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to partying for a great cause on Tuesday night. So thanks so much.
Next up, we've got Mike Munsell, VP of Partnerships at Heatmap News. Many of you probably know Mike from his many years in the industry at other publications, most recently joining the new kid on the block, Heatmap News, as the head of partnerships, leading sales and growth efforts over at what has become one of my daily readers. Mike, good to see you.
Good to see you too, and thank you for reading Heatmap.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to read Heatmap. It is, you guys have such a truly a wealth of knowledge in the staff there. I mean, I think the email that I open most frequently is Emily's daily email. Sometimes I get a chance to read Robinson, but I'm looking forward to reading more from, is it Yael? Is that how you?
JL. Yeah,
JL.
She came over from Axios most recently.
So excited. Yeah, so JL is covering solar and renewables, right?
Yeah, and really at a project level, we're really interested in sort of the intersection of developing projects and the local community pushback against them, and just that the drama behind that and all of the policies around it. So she's going to be covering that really closely.
That's cool. We need to get her in a meeting with Mike Casey at the show, of course, because that's Mike's bailiwick right there. I'll make sure that happens, because Mike's going to be spending a lot of time at Power Up Live with us. But it's your, I think, 10th anniversary at the show. Am I right?
It is, yes. I missed 1 year for the birth of my first. He was an August baby, so we didn't make the September show. And then COVID happened, so but this will be year number 10 officially.
Amazing. It's so a decade of experience that we all get to glean from. You know, given that you've been covering the industry from a news perspective pretty much daily for the bulk of your career, how do you, and feel free to extrapolate as well out to sort of the broader Heatmap team, how do you all think about covering a major trade show like RE+? What are you looking for? What are some of the trends that you expect will unfurl during the week? And where do you expect the conversations to land?
Yeah, and just the caveat that I'm not on the journalist side, the editorial side, so I will speak roughly for them, but not for them at all, actually. I mean, I think that this year in particular, and maybe this is sort of a stock answer for the last 2 years with the IRA, right, being front and center, but with the upcoming election in November and, you know, now with Harris on the ticket, it really is up in the air what happens in November and what does that mean for the IRA? And I can imagine that many of the conversations on the show floor will be in that regard. And our journalists are certainly curious about the people on the ground, whether they're developers at utilities, solar manufacturers. What do they think? What are they hearing? Because, you know, it could go either way. And, you know, there's a lot of red states who are getting a lot of great benefits and jobs from the IRA. So what does that all mean come 2025? When I think that's going to be the biggest trend on the show floor is my hunch.
How many folks from Heatmap are going to be walking the show?
So we'll have, I believe, 4 of us.
4. It's you on basically walking around meeting partners.
Yeah.
JL.
And there's JL, correct. And then we'll have Nico Lorcella, who's the editor-in-chief and CEO. And then we'll have Zach Silber, who runs our Heatmap Pro product, and then Alex, who's on his team on the Pro side.
Fantastic. Pro, having gotten a chance to look under the hood, is very reminiscent in scope of like the old GTM squared, right? Like people in the industry at least would recognize that as a product. So it's one of those things that I think I highly recommend. When I talk to people, I ask them like, hey, are you a Heatmap reader? And if they are, I ask them if they're aware of the Pro product. So I think increasingly you guys are getting better traction and penetration there. Given that a decade in, you, I presume you have a strategy for how you spend your time. You know, not everybody going is a project developer. Not everybody going is a B2B marketer or product company. So we, in the Know Before You Go episode, want to help folks think more broadly about how to best utilize their time. Any particular tips or tricks that you've found help you maximize your experience at RE+?
Yeah, it's a mix of organization and planning ahead, and also giving yourself the time and flexibility to just go with the flow, right? There's a really healthy balance between, and I don't know when this episode drops, but I imagine it's pretty close to the show. So if you haven't started booking meetings by the time you're listening, you should really get on that. Don't give yourself back-to-back meetings by any stretch, but people's calendars do fill up very fast. So definitely make sure you're sort of on the books and on the radar for your key prospects. But then, the show floor is so big and it takes time from meeting to meeting, and a lot of serendipity happens sort of in between one meeting and the next. So make sure you give yourself ample time in between.
Yeah, I want to just drill down, double click on that one piece. It has never been bigger than this year. Last year was the biggest attendance, but if we talk about total square footage covered, this year is mind-numbingly big. It is North Hall over kind of in the Hilton area. It is an entire conference room at the Marriott, plus not just ABC Convention Center halls, which we're all familiar with if you've been to a previous RE+. And just to contextualize this, last time we had an RE+, it was basically ABC and a little bit of D. This time it is all of ABCD, which is the entire first floor that people are familiar with, plus the entire Hall E, which is underneath Hall D, which is right where the Power Up Live stage lobby is, basically. So that entire building, plus the walk up to the arena. I think they actually have things happening in the arena. It is incredibly big. So as Mike said, don't underestimate the time required to walk from meeting to meeting. My personal advice is never book 2 back-to-back meetings ever at the trade show, ever. Like always leave at least 30 minutes between the end of one meeting and the start of the next, always. There's very little hope that you'll make it from one meeting to the next if they end at, 55 and the next one starts at the top of the hour. So that is a critical failure I see people doing. And then the other thing that you pointed out was plan to walk the show. A lot of folks will go and they'll try to pick out the vendors they want to visit or maybe the partners that they want to meet with. I find that one of the things they don't do is look at the show map ahead of time as they're thinking about that schedule. So you could go to, and we'll link to the Map My Show show floor in the episode notes. Before you call your prospects or customers and make those bookings, look to see, are they in the Marriott? Are they in Hall C? We have a couple of back-to-back meetings where thankfully I don't have to be there at the start of the meeting, but it's like I have to run from Hall D to the arena. And it's a little run. It takes 5 minutes to get from one spot to the other.
The scale of it is really hard to comprehend until you live it. We brought the Heatmap team to Clean Power, which was in April, and we had 10,000 people at that, and they were just blown away. That was their first renewable trade show for many of them. I mean, just wait till we go to Anaheim.
And Vegas next year is just going to be truly bonkers. Next year is going to be pretty wild, going back to Vegas, and also it'll be almost assuredly 60 or more thousand people. This year they're expecting 50 plus. Well, as we know, the activity on the show floor is not everything that happens during the RE Plus trade show week. Mike, do you have any lineup yet for your evening activities? As I find most of the networking happens after hours.
Yeah, and that's some of the serendipity I was referring to. The after hours shows are packed with people, and there are so many events going on. Check your emails. You're probably getting event invites right now. I know the Shoals Party is a big one every year. That's happening Wednesday night, I heard, in which I have a red eye flying home, so I probably won't make that one. But
your body thanks you for it.
I have a wedding Sunday night here before I fly out, so I have. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be tired.
Yeah, big weekend.
Yes, but try to make it to the events. Try to get some sleep because they ultimately will be late nights, but oftentimes the conversations that you have during dinner, during the evening hours are just as impactful as those you have on the show floor. So stay on your game.
I'll channel our inner Abby Hopper. When we had Abby on a couple of years ago, she said, I just want to encourage everyone to remember that we're adults. Go to bed like you're at home if you can, and drink water like your body needs it. And for the most part, you'll make it through the day okay. people that we see lagging are the ones that either stayed out too late and or decided that they are a camel and don't need to drink water all day. Definitely remember to hydrate and get plenty of sleep. I think that while I always advocate that folks come to our solar fight night party, and it is a huge highlight for many of us during the week, I personally make it a goal to go to a fight night and still be home in my bed by midnight. Not always possible, but definitely doable. Mike, I look forward to...
Midnight is a great bedtime at RE+.
It is. Like, if you can hit the midnight goal, then I say you're winning. Well, Mike, I, for one, am very much looking forward to seeing you in person again, meeting more of the Heatmap News team, and I know that I can count on the coverage from Jael and the team after the show to hear more of the Heatmap perspective on how the show went. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, and I'll be sure to pop by the booth and listen to your show.
All right, rounding out our annual Know Before You Go episode, I will go last with the person that you will see first when you get to Anaheim, my co-host of the Power Up Live morning show, Lisa Ann Pinkerton. Lisa, good to see you.
Hi, Nico. Good to see you too. I'm excited for this year.
I'm so excited. Last year, through some serendipitous, fortuitous turns of events, you came in and joined me as the host, the co-host of our Power Up Live morning show. I've never been so prepared as I am with Lisa Ann riding. I feel like I'm riding shotgun with you, to be honest.
Now I know why I get invited to be the co-host every year.
What's fun? I think you probably noticed this, but even our team, they were like, "Where did this run of show come from?" And I was like, "Well, she's the CEO of a comms company, Technica. Communications is her company," and they were like, "Can we use it?" So like the run of show that you created became our entire like Power Up Live stage run of show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for that gift. But you've also given gifts in many other ways. Notably, you in a past life were at NPR. Am I right?
That's correct.
Yes, which is why, folks, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you hear the sultry tones of Lisa Ann Pinkerton. Raise your hand if you are a Earthlings podcast listener. Yay! So Lisa Ann is also the host of the Earthlings podcast, Earthlings 2.0, which is part of our Resource Labs podcast network. If you're not a listener, you can easily find and connect with her, not only on LinkedIn, but through our show notes, or go to resourcelabs.co. Without further ado, let's talk about RE+. So we've got the Power Up Live morning show. Lisa Ann, since you've done a fair amount of preparing with me, how do you tell people what the morning show is when you're telling them they should come watch it?
I describe it as sort of the Regis and Kathy Lee opening of the day for RE+. And I don't mean that like flippantly, like there's actually, I think we provide a lot more information than you might get on a morning talk show like that. But I like our rapport, and it's light, and it's you're going to get plenty of heavy information throughout the day, but this is the light overview to wake you up, inspire you, hype you up, get you ready for the day, because you're going to need a lot of energy to carry you through all night.
Absolutely. The morning show evolved out of what became a very impromptu thing I did with Glenda Johnson all the way back at our first podcast stage in 2019 in Salt Lake. Glenda and I did like a pop-up show on RE+'s Instagram Live. And the following year, we were like, we really should do this as a segment. And we've done it every year. Julia Piper, at one time, was my morning show co-host. And the morning show was actually modeled. It's so funny that you mentioned Regis and Kathy Lee. That's exactly how I think of it as well. I tell some people like, it's like Good Morning America, but it's Good Morning RE+. It happens to be the first thing on the schedule and the first thing at the Power Up Live stage, but it immediately this year follows, we kick off following the general session. So a lot of folks will go to the general session, but because we get Jumbotron time, we moved the start time from our normal 30 minutes before the show floor opens to the time the show floor opens. And Lisa Ann, I think you had a very clever idea that we've been wanting to do for a couple of years. So do you want to announce how and why, or why people would want to come over to the Power Up Live stage before they go roam the exhibit hall floor?
Well, beyond all the great information that they're going to get so that they can sound very smart and up to date on the news of the day, while they're mingling the show floor in the various sessions is that we're going to have a Bloody Mary bar.
Woot woot.
Yeah,
So
this
bloody-
is something. This is something I've been advocating for years, and Nico, you are the first person to take me up on it, so I'm very excited to see how this plays out.
As am I. We'll definitely have. We know that the RE Plus 20th anniversary party is Monday night because that's the opening night party, and so we anticipate that as well. Others are going to go a little too hard on the first night. So come recover. We will have an until it runs out style Bloody Mary bar. So it is not an unlimited Bloody Mary bar. We're not doing it to try to get leads. We're doing it to try to attract folks to come over and watch our morning show. So shamelessly, I will say that when the Bloody Mary runs out, you will not be able to get one. Nevertheless, you will be able to nourish yourself with the content that we provide. And our goal is to give you a good foundation, a good sense of how to kick the show off. And we do it every morning. So it's 10 o'clock on Tuesday, and then 9 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday. Actually, no, it's 9:30 on Wednesday and Thursday. Good news is it's in the official schedule. So even if I totally mess up on telling you what the time is, you can find it in the schedule.
Yeah.
Lisa Ann, I've been told that one of the favorites from last year that has been requested by many to return is another brilliant idea that you had last year, the swag contest. What's the deal with the swag contest? And, I don't know that we have an answer for this yet, but the question I got asked was, what do you win if you win the swag contest?
Well, you definitely win bragging rights.
That's right.
Yeah. And we'll do a little promotion, I'm sure.
That's right. And you win, you definitely, so everyone, almost everyone, practically, we basically go through a bunch of the swag and say, like, here are good ideas. But also, effectively, you win your brand and your swag being shown on the Jumbotron. We even we developed last year a sort of let's show some of our favorite swag in their daily roundup at the end of the day. Because every day at the end of the day at 5 o'clock, we do a 30-minute segment called the Daily Roundup, which is about what's happening tomorrow and what trends are happening on the show floor, that what announcements were made today that you should be aware of. And my Daily Roundup co-hosts love to sort of pick through the swag and tell what their favorite ones are too. So it's a gratuitous way for us to just brag about the good swag. And we do cherry pick, because if you don't have good swag, you don't get mentioned. So your goal should be to get mentioned. And effectively, because we're broadcasting on the Jumbotron, you can definitely get your brand out there in front of others. And I know last year, like Nevados had this really cool speaker, and they ended up like running out of them because we said that we loved it, and people went over and there was one that Nate Giovanelli was talking about, like he got an actual shoe. Remember that? He got like a pair of Nikes. And so I think that was now Snowball. I think they had this promotion for these Nikes that were like personalized Nikes, and they ran out because we sent people over there. So it does end up driving traffic to people's booths. And again, for our purposes, like we just want to have fun with it because we believe that marketing is truly important. And so many people throw money away and bad swag. So what's an example of good swag? And this is, I'll say thank you to Solis because they actually sent us a whole bunch of these batteries. And this has got the MagSafe charger on the back. And it is a 10,000 kilowatt or 10,000 milliamp hour battery. That's an example of good swag, one that I use. It just so happens that both of my examples sitting beside me are black and orange. AP Systems has like this super cool, you have to be watching this on YouTube, but they have this like lay flat stand basically that, again, like it goes in my backpack. I keep it.
I gave that to my fiance. He uses it every day.
I use it all the time. That's an example of good swag, people.
This is the Technica swag from last year.
It goes in that goes seriously. No
Cable
kidding.
Organizer.
Inside the Technica swag bag were these beautiful orange socks. I wear them on basically every trip I go on. They're in my bag to go to DC tonight. And as is the Technica bag, because it's now my DOP kit, because my DOP kit broke. And so you provided me with a brand new DOP kit, which is absolutely beautiful and functional, and I appreciate it. So,
and that's the key. That's the key about the swag contest. It's something that's unusual or unique, or something that's really useful that we know is going to last.
That's right.
So much of the swag out there is it's commonly done, and that's fine, but it's the stuff that's unusual and unique, and people are going to use it throughout the year. That's what makes good swag, because your brand, you're reintegrating your brand into the mindset of the person who has that product day in and day out.
And I can tell you, I think about those two companies all the time because they're always on my desk. I see it every single day, and that really should be the goal, is to be there, present. But you, Lisa Ann, in one of our first Know Before You episodes, gave some really tactical advice for how to maximize your time at the trade show, in particular with regards to networking and just sort of physical energy. I'd love for you to help revisit that, because I feel like you've got it on lock.
So physical energy, it's about obviously getting enough sleep at night if you can. I have started setting an alarm on my phone for the time that I need to leave the party I'm at. Now, do I actually leave when it tells me? No, but at least now I've got a little bug in my ear that says, okay, you really need to start going home and thinking about getting some sleep. And now that I got to get up in the morning and do the morning show with you, Nico, I really need to get some sleep. My beauty rest. So very important. But regardless of that, it's making sure you get your vegetables, because there's not going to be a lot on the show floor. It's going to be mostly carbs. So protein, vegetables, those are going to keep you going throughout the day. Make sure you take your supplements, take your, whatever immunity support that you would do because you're starting to feel sick. Just go ahead and take that, because you're going to be exhausted, dehydrated. So drink a lot of water as well. If you don't bring a water bottle, there's going to be plenty of swag water bottles around. Grab one and be fastidious about that. Liquid IV is really great in your water bottle. It's going to keep you hydrated. And wear comfortable shoes. Ladies, I'm specifically talking to you. Let's have a tennis shoe culture here.
Yes.
Right. We don't need to be wearing fancy shoes on the show floor.
You also have a very specific strategy for business cards. And let's face it, like one of the things that if you haven't already, print plenty of business cards. You should take at least 500 business cards with you. And your plan is not to, your plan really is to get rid of those business cards, like distribute them everywhere you can. But also as you collect business cards, I find that most people don't have a strategy for that. Lisa Ann, what do you do?
So my strategy is I've got 2 pockets. Now, it might be in my bag, might be on my person, whatever the case might be. One pocket is the A group and the other pocket's the B group. The A group are the people that I want to remember and I'm going to follow up with. And those are potential leads or something very interesting. I like those people. I want to create friendships with them, et cetera, et cetera. So then when I get home or back to the hotel, I have on the table, my A and B group. And typically I will respond to people that night if I can.
Wow.
And I actually will schedule the email to go out the Monday after the show.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, because they're not reading their email.
They're not reading. No, they're going to forget. But if I don't do it right away, it's very difficult for me to do it once I get back to the office, the follow up. I have one more. This is a new one that I'm employing this year because I had such trouble last year with all of the different floors and venues for various, where all the booths are. This year, what I'm doing is I'm not depending on the internet whatsoever because it's going to be clogged. The bandwidth is going to be hard. So I'm creating a notes document on my phone with a checklist of each of the booths that I want to visit and what hall they're in. Yes. So if I've got 10 minutes before my next meeting and I'm in hall B, where's my B group? And I'll go visit them.
That's so smart.
I'll get so consumed and overwhelmed that I'll just go visit any booth.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, I'm like, oh crap, I really wanted to go see that company and I totally didn't do it.
Lisa Ann, there's not just what happens on the show floor, but I always like to ask outside of the trade show, evening events, is there anything that is like a must do for you when each year at RE Plus?
Oh, Solar Fight Night. Absolutely. Woo-hoo. That's gotta be it. Tuesday night.
Fight night.
Yeah. That's that's when you really get a chance to meet people in a more casual setting and get a chance to make friends with folks. Because let's face it, you can do business with anybody, but you're going to do really great business with people that you can build rapport with and have a friendship connection to. Because those business relationships are so fruitful. And Solar Fight Night, such a great event. the organizations that the proceeds go to is just they're doing wonderful stuff, and it's a really good party. Like you let your hair down, and you never know who's going to be an excellent breakdancer, and then suddenly the CEO of this company is on the floor breakdancing. You're like, oh my god,
it happens.
I'm
it happens.
blown
every year.
away.
Also, as we expect, most of our listeners will be going to Solar Fight Night. That is why we will be having the Bloody Mary bar as a reminder at the Power Up Live stage in the lobby of Hall E at the Anaheim Convention Center Wednesday morning after fight night. After you've drug yourself back out of bed, come get a Bloody Mary with us. Watch the show. The show will be at 9:30 on Wednesday morning. Bloody Mary bar brought to you by Landgate. Thanks for them picking up our Wednesday morning. If you're listening to this and you'd like to pick up Thursday morning, we'd actually we sort of still have it tabled whether or not we'll do Thursday. We're definitely going to do Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Lisa Ann, this is a wrap on this year's Know Before You Go episode. Any parting words of wisdom or parting thoughts for our listeners?
Do yourself a favor, carve off a couple of hours prior to this conference, do your homework, do your outreach. You're going to have your event and your time at the event will be much more fruitful if you sit down and do a little bit of homework and don't just wing it. I'm not saying hours and hours, but do a little bit of homework for yourself, set yourself a goal, have an intention, and then execute on that intention.
Lisa Ann, thank you so much for being my co-host for the Power Up Live morning show. And I look forward to seeing you and all of our lovely viewers in Anaheim.
Can't wait.
I hope you feel a lot more informed and are ready for this year's RE+. Of course, we said it a bunch of times, but I hope that you will come by and see us at the Power Up Live stage. It's our annual opportunity to get all the podcasters together and shine a light on intimate conversations that only podcasts can afford and give you an opportunity as a live audience to meet the folks that you listen to, like myself, each and every week. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Thank you to our guests who helped share from their treasure trove of insights and experiences. And of course, thanks to the team at RE Plus Events for partnering with us each and every year to put this episode together and also to bring the Power Up Live stage to you wherever the conference happens to be. I look forward to meeting you in person. See you September 10th, 11th, and 12th in Anaheim, California. Remember, you are what you listen to. Come listen to us live on the show floor. And be sure to tune in each and every day if you're not able to get to Anaheim, because we will be replaying our morning show the following day, each day, so that you don't feel like you've missed out. Thank you once again for not missing out on this episode. Please share it with a friend, somebody you know who is going for their first time or who you know would appreciate what was shared here today. And oh yeah, thanks again for showing up, Solar Warrior. It's half the battle.